Go back to our screen. Okay, welcome everyone to Oberst, and I have a very worthy guest on today's show. This is AIDAN CANINI. If I'm not mistaken, he is New South Wales' strongest man, Tasmania's strongest man, and maybe an unofficial record holder of the Australian record for the circus dumbbell press. And
close. Correction there. I was Tasmania's strongest man in 2018.
Yep.
Second New South Wales strongest man, and I'm 1 kilo unofficially off from the Australian record with the dumbbell.
Fantastic. So thanks for clearing that up. Fantastic. So, AIDAN, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself for the viewers who may not know anything about you?
Yeah, so I'm a competitive strongman athlete in Australia, located in New South Wales. That's my home state. Just right now, the level I'm at, I was just about to compete at the Arnold, which is basically the heaviest comp you can do in Australia besides ASM, which is pretty much the same thing, competition-wise. So we were going to do that, but that was cancelled because of the current COVID-19. So it's been postponed to next year. But as of now, that's where I'm at. I suppose just hanging around the top bunch in Australia so far. So doing well to build my profile. It's only just started this sport, so slowly but surely we're getting there, and hopefully we can shock some people in the near future.
Absolutely. And you're in the open weight class. Just for people who may not know much about Strongman, there's different weight classes, and so you're in open weight category, which means you can compete against people of any weight, right? So
right.
What
so
age,
once you're over 105.
Yeah, what age are you? What age are you? What do you weigh? What's your height? Do you want to tell people a bit about that sort of stuff?
25. 6 foot, 6'1", around there somewhere. Currently 127 kilo. I've gotten heavier before, but that didn't really work too well, like health-wise.
Right.
So cut it back to 127, 125. Once I get below 125, I lose my static power, sort of.
Okay.
So, and then when I get too heavy, I lose my speed. So I think 127 fits good for me.
Awesome.
Just maintain this, and yeah.
And are most people in Australia at the level you compete at the moment, this sort of this national level, in Australia, are most of the other open competitors around about that weight as well?
From my experience, all the people I've competed against, and looking at the top fellas, there are some lighter guys, but currently the best in Australia are over, say, 130, 140. Eddie Williams was. He hangs around the 180, 190 area. It's just ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah.
Most of the blokes that I go up against, like New South Wales and Nationals, they've all been around the 140 mark.
Yeah.
So that tends to be the common weight, I suppose you could say, for open men. I'm definitely on the smaller side in opens, that's for sure. So.
Okay, interesting, awesome, man. It's good to know that you can beat people at a lighter weight, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's not necessarily for people who don't know much about strongmen. It's not always a thing of heavier is better, is it?
No, absolutely not. I've made a video about that before. So look at Puds.
Yeah, absolutely, Pudzanowski, right? Yeah. So would you like to tell people just a little bit about your sporting background and that sort of thing, so people can get a context of how you got into Strongman and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so I started rugby league at the age of 6 or 7.
Wow.
My dad got me into that.
That's young.
Yeah. Well, I started weights at 9. So
wow, that's crazy, man. Crazy. I didn't actually start lifting till I was about 18.
Yeah, well, I'll get to that. So I started rugby league at 6 and stopped at around 13, 14. Just got over it. So I started weights when I was 9 and then stopped when I was about 12, 13. So my dad just had me doing just like basic like bench press and a lot of ab work, which has proven to carry over to what I do nowadays. But he just had me doing basic stuff. He didn't have me do squats or deadlift because he was worried he'd injure me. I never went heavy. So it was more just learning technique and form, and just that's where I built my base. In that respect, I built my base doing that, and then did nothing through all my teenage years. Absolutely nothing.
Really? That's
no exercise. And yeah, so I kind of blew out a bit. I got pretty unhealthy.
Right.
And then cut all that, and that's where the veganism started. I wanted to get healthy.
Right.
So I stopped everything and started exercising around the age of 20, along with being vegetarian at the beginning. After a year, went full plant-based.
Awesome.
And started strength training at 22. So right now I'm coming up on my 4th year of strength training and my 1st year of Strongman.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. So it sounds like for people who are listening, I went vegan before I started Strongman, and it sounds like it was the same for you, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes people will make the argument that if you're plant-based or vegan, or you got all your gains when you were eating animals, and that's where it came from, man. And
that's not the case with me. So
not the case with you, and not the case with me. So that's awesome to hear that. Who is a better athlete or strongman? So Eddie Hall or Hafley? Okay, cool. I think what we might do now is go into some.
Although I probably like Eddie more for what he's done. Yes, I'd have to say Thor is probably a more overall better athlete. He moves very well.
Yeah, he's definitely more mobile, isn't he?
As a static lifter, he's also proven to be on Eddie's level, if not maybe better, as of recent. So, but I wouldn't say he's a lot better. I'd say they're around the same when it comes to static power.
Okay.
He might.
That's I think that's a good response. Cool, man. So who is your favorite strongman and why?
Favorite all-time strongman would be Puds, Mariusz Pudzianowski. Just for like how awesome he was. I aspire to be like that in Australia. And my current strongman would be Matthias Kieliszkowski.
Yeah.
Because he also, I love his style, like his grip, his work with the stones. I love that. That's awesome. I get bored with bench pressing and overheads.
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm the same, man. I think those athletes are so powerful, and so entertaining. So
yeah,
good answer. Cool, man. Next question. Do you like eating, or do you find that eating for strongman is a chore?
No, I like eating. I love eating.
That's good. Well, that's a very good quality.
That works.
Number one,
that works in my favor.
Number one thing for strongman.
I've never had a problem with eating. I'm all good.
Yep, sweet, man. Okay. Do records need to be official to count? Very relevant question at the moment.
Oh, they need to be official to count, of course. But going by the circumstances, they kind of did make it official for the circumstance that we're in. So, they have officials there. They have officials there that it is run by the actual WUS, from what I know. So, but at the end of the day, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So in other words, as long as there's some sort of accountability there, it's all right.
Well, it's run by them. I don't know, but I don't know. It needs to be official though. But I don't get too caught up in it.
Yeah.
I enjoy the deadlift. I enjoy the back and forth. Yeah.
Definitely. Cool. Nah, good answer, man. Was Patrik Baboumian's yoke walk and world record official and a world record at the time that he did it? Oops. Back to screen.
Yeah, well, I haven't looked it up myself. I haven't done the research, but from what Patrik said, it was a record at the time, so it did count. And I'd like to see most people try and do a 550 kilo yoke.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can't deny his power. He's strong. That's it.
He's friggin' strong, isn't he? He's also got a video on his channel where he does a 600 kilo yoke for a shorter distance. So
Yeah,
I would
insane.
say he's in that one lift, he's up there with the best.
Yeah, and you know what? Back then, that's all he had to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure if he had to go higher, he probably would have.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we always adapt to the standards.
Yeah.
No one thought about doing 500 until Eddie did 500. Now people are going for 500.
Absolutely,
You know?
man. Absolutely. And
You need pioneers.
Absolutely, dude. And I would say as well, to add to that, just because a record has been broken doesn't mean it wasn't good at the time. Or,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
no one would look back on records Usain Bolt has broken and say those records were horseshit. You know, you know, they were still freaking quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. What is the best thing about Strongman?
Best thing about Strongman?
Yeah.
Winning.
Love it. Good stuff.
I love winning.
You're a true competitor. That follows on to my next question then. What is the worst thing about Strongman, or something which could be improved?
Something which could be improved. Australia could be improved, in my opinion. Could be improved. The point system. I think the point system is doesn't make any sense. How I don't know if you know how the point systems work, but basically what they have is there's 10 competitors. First place gets 10 points. Second place gets 9, and so on.
Yeah.
You could do a deadlift event, and you get 10 reps. And the guy comes second gets 2 reps, and everyone else gets 0. But there's only 1 point between you and second place. Like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if it's just there's a good reasoning behind that, or it's just laziness. I don't know, but I don't like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's definitely got a lot of room for improvement there, especially as you say, depending on what happens with the results. It can you can get like 4 or 5 people drawing as well, and then the points have to be split between all of them. And yeah, good point. Cool, man. Next question. If you can include one exercise or new event into Strongman, what would it be?
Ooh. Front squats.
You love your front squats. You love your front
Yeah.
squats, don't you, man? I love them too, but I'm not nearly as good at them as you are.
They're awesome.
Sweet, man. So, what's your favorite event in Strongman and why?
It always changes. Used to be stoned, but yeah. I think the important thing about strongmen and to be really good is to. I see a lot of people saying like, "Oh, this is my favorite event," or "These are my best events," and then these are events I don't like. I think people have to learn to, if you have to, trick yourself to make every event your favorite event.
Absolutely.
And you're just good at everything. And right now, everything, I enjoy everything, every event. If I have to pick one, I'd probably go with farmers right now. I'm enjoying that. I'm progressing really well with it. But I'd say, yeah, every event should be your favorite event to be successful in the sport.
That's a really, really good point, and I've never really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. You are a true competitor. So, can you win Australia's Strongest Man?
Yeah, and I will.
I'll
win Australia's Strongest Man.
Love it.
Yeah.
There it is. Warning to future competitors.
It might not be this year, maybe not even next year, but it will happen. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Love it. What must be done to grow the sport of strongman in general?
Must be done to grow the sport of strongman. More of what we're doing here. More content for sure, because YouTube is huge right now, and a few of the top competitors have got the message, like they're making their YouTube accounts and they're creating content. I think that's important for people to have something to engage the audience, the fans and everything, and just the more we put into it, the better it's going to be. And we're getting more competitors coming in every year. in Australia alone, it needs more. It needs more talent. It has talent, but needs more talent. More people to come in and bring the standards up to, so we can hang with some of the other countries. Because right now we're behind.
Absolutely, I agree with that, man. And I think at all the different levels, you got a state level, a national level, international level. It has to be promoted from the bottom upwards as well. I think some of the comps I've been at just like a state level or like a local comp, there might not be like basic things like a commentator or something like that, which just enhances the whole experience, right?
Yeah. Well, with New South Wales Strongest Man, what they did, they had it in the car park of like next to a pub.
Yep.
So families were walking in having lunch with their families, and then they'd walk out and they'd see us, picking up frames and pressing these huge dumbbells, and they came in and the crowd got bigger and bigger, and it ended up being really cool.
That's a great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea, isn't it?
So having it out in public like that is a good way of doing it. Expos, what they do now is great, but it's going the right direction. I can't say we're not doing the right thing. It's going. So, yeah.
Absolutely, and I think the idea of having crowds is a good one, because in the past with World's Strongest Man, for instance, it's always in an obscure location with 30 people or something.
Yeah, World's Strongest Man is like that. So
yeah, absolutely. Cool. Next question: how can people train strongman without equipment?
You can't. you can't.
That's a good response.
What I used to do, I'd go down to the beach and I'd find big sandstones and I'd throw them to my shoulder. That's stone training. Just get creative. Everything. I guess you can do car push. You can get behind a car and push it.
Yeah.
That's how Matthias trained Wheel at the Arnold's this year. He pushed a truck and he won the event. He won the event by doing that. So you can do that. You can natural stones. You can find them anywhere.
Absolutely.
Maybe you can't do things like certain things will be challenging to get your hands on, like the basics, like a barbell and stuff like that. But strongman isn't just that, So
absolutely,
you can get creative and you can figure it out. But I'd say those two: pushing a car, picking up natural stones. That's all I can think of right now. But yeah.
I think that's really good advice, and definitely your first response was good too, because I've found as I've progressed in strongman, when I first started, I had no equipment, and the biggest thing that hurt me in competitions was just lack of experience with equipment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm right there with you. I went to comps by just doing squat, bench, and deadlift, overheads. I went to comps with no experience of anything else.
Yeah, and that can get you strong, but it's not the same when you're talking about specific events in strongman.
You got to trade events, and I learnt my lesson in New South Wales and in nationals.
Yeah, I totally agree. I remember last year in Northeast England, Strongest Man I was competing in, I got smashed. I got some good placings, and then one of my events, stone to shoulder, I only got one rep. I'd never done it before, and I just got smashed in that event.
And you need those points because the way the point system works.
Exactly.
That would have put you behind a lot.
All the other athletes were training it before the comp, and it was easy for them.
Right. Yeah. So that's one important thing. Anyone out there wants to compete, make sure you train every event for that comp.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't leave anything out. Don't think that your good deadlift or your good overhead will carry you, because it won't get you that many points against. It won't get you any more points over the guy who comes second.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Good advice. Last question, quickfire questions. Do you prefer bodybuilding, Olympic weightlifting, or powerlifting as a sport outside of strongman?
Do I like those sports?
Yeah, well, do you like them, or do you prefer one of those sports outside of strongman?
Yeah, well, I don't consider bodybuilding a sport. Powerlifting and weightlifting are really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might try them. I might give them a go one day. Not right now, but powerlifting. And I like Olympic weightlifting. It's cool. Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, I agree. I find your comment about the bodybuilding quite funny, but I agree. I
Well,
mean, ultimately, they're not.
sport is performance, right? It's not aesthetics.
Yeah, they're not. I mean,
They do athletic things to get that physique, but they don't focus on their lifts. They focus on the
exactly.
look.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. What kind of sport has, is decided on the day when they do nothing, essentially.
But nonetheless, it is impressive what they do.
It
I
is.
would never commit to like that kind of. No, that's crazy.
It's a bizarre kind of sport, and
Yeah,
it's
we'll just leave it there.
yeah. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, so we're going to get into some longer questions again. Let's see, where are we?
Robert Oberst.
So yeah. Let's take off from there. So, tell us a little bit about your diet. So you told us a little bit about how you went vegan or plant-based, and tell us a bit about your diet, because according to Robert Oberst, if you're a strongman, you can only eat chicken and rice.
Well, he if that works for him, that's fine. But that's not the blueprint of a diet. Like he can say that works because obviously he's where he is. It's working, but he can't say that my one doesn't work. That's what he can't say.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
That's a good response. So what
people can say I'm not on his level, but he's been doing this for over 10 years. We'll see where I'm at in another few years. I'm sure I can hang with him on events like Farmers and a few moving events for sure. Just
wow,
I'm a bit behind on the log.
Awesome, yeah. Man, awesome. So what do you eat in a day for people who are watching and want to know? I mean, I'm only an under 80 kilo competitor, so I probably don't eat as much as you. How does someone your size and weight and strength level maintain their mass on a plant-based diet or as a vegan?
Oh, jeez. So I pretty much eat like anyone else. I have toast in the morning, which is pretty basic. With I make like a tofu scramble with mushrooms. I have a big handful of pepita seeds. Always have a bunch of kale there as well, like a bowl of kale. That's my normal breakfast. That's probably like 1,000 calories. I don't count calories. Yeah, I eat intuitively. So yeah.
So would you use like a whole block of tofu when you make that tofu scramble?
Okay, so you got like I think it might be 450 grams. So that's like it's big.
Yeah.
I'll have half of it in that meal.
Okay,
yeah. Cool, I don't eat huge amount. I kind of at maintenance. I don't eat like any ore, as in quantity of food.
Okay, it is. I think that's a good point to actually raise at this point as well. That everyone has a different sort of natural physique and mass, and not everyone needs to eat the same amount as well to be the same to hold a certain amount of weight. I mean, yeah.
So basically, I eat what I eat, and I'm at maintenance. I've been at 127 for a while now, and I'm getting stronger every week. So I'm not gaining weight, and I'm getting stronger. So it's working.
Wicked. And what did you weigh when you were younger? And sort of did you gain weight when you went vegan for Strongman, or how did that sort of?
I've always been I guess overweight. Like I was never like really fat, but I've always been solid and big.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, I got a bit more unhealthy and fatter, and then when I was 21, I was doing all the cardio, and because I wanted to get all that off, and I actually went fruitarian for about a year.
Wow.
And I was deliberately trying to just get like really
lean.
Shredded, really lean and agile, and that kind of worked. I got down to 74 kilos.
Wow.
Which is light for being 6 foot tall, 6'1". So
yeah, and it sounds like for someone with your natural like frame, that's quite a lightweight.
I think I'm better at being bigger. That's more my style.
Yeah, totally, man.
I'm not a huge guy, but I'm more on the bigger side. Like my wrists, they're 8.5 inches. My wrist. If you measure the bone around your wrists, so if anyone at home measure your wrists and see where you're at, I'm at 8.5.
That's crazy, man. I don't think my wrists would be that big. My hands look big, but I don't think my wrists is.
Give it a go.
So yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, to put it in perspective, I've always been a super lean dude, and I'm sort of the opposite. Like, it's a lot harder for me to gain weight, and I mean, I have close to 4,000 calories a day, and I'm only 76 at the moment, 76 kilograms. So yeah, I think it just shows that people have different.
Yeah, well, you got to play with your talents, you know.
Yeah.
So you're an under 80s.
Exactly.
Be a very good and competitive under 80.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So let's go back to my notes here and see where we're going with this. Do you use any supplements or?
Creatine.
Creatine. Okay. Yep. And
that's it. I don't take any supplements or anything like that. I don't take vitamins, nothing like that. Just food, creatine. That's it.
Wow, sweet, man. And so you just get everything else from the food you eat?
Yeah. Cool. Creatine's just like a I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just have it. I don't even know if it works.
Well,
some people, apparently there's non-responders, and you know.
Yeah, some people just swear by it.
And it doesn't make you stronger. It actually, I think it enhanced reps maybe by a couple, but it doesn't make you stronger.
No. I think sometimes people get this kind of erroneous idea that supplements will act like steroid or something.
It's a hormone. Steroids is like a hormone. It's not even the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's illegal. Is because it works.
Yeah, exactly. I made a video a while ago about how fenugreek is not a steroid because Nutrition Facts a while ago looked at a study which was a dodgy study which concluded that fenugreek had like a steroid-like effect on people.
Right, yeah. And with creatine, you can buy it from Coles. So
yeah,
it's
cheap, it's well researched, it's safe.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So you've been plant-based or vegan. So you've always been plant-based or vegan as a strongman. How have you not died of protein deficiency yet? And do you track your calories?
It's because I'm awesome. I'm unstoppable. That's why, mate.
So where do you get your protein from, man? Where do you get your protein?
I don't even know if I eat that much protein. I'm more high carb, like lots of rice and potatoes and bread, grains, stuff like that.
Wow.
I love my carbs.
Yeah, me too, man. That's I bet that would be kind of very challenging for a lot of people to hear based on what their experiences or what they've heard about nutrition and stuff like that. So what do you have to say to people in that regard?
Don't get too caught up in it. Just eat. Make sure you're eating good foods. So like I have my lentils and stuff like that, and I eat a lot of like those mock meats and stuff, like burgers and that. I have pastas and all that. I love to eat, so I just eat whatever I can. Whatever tastes good, I eat it. I just make sure I read the label before I buy it. That's
vegan seafood diet, right?
The seafood, yeah, that's it. The seafood diet. That's right. Exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, that's good. That's a good attitude, man, for strongman particularly. So
but eat your vegetables.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's important, man. It's you know. Yeah, it sounds like you've got one of the cleanest diets of any strongman I've ever spoken to.
Pretty much, yeah. A lot of strongmen don't really eat too healthy.
No, that's true. So going on to Patrik Baboumian, most people who are vegan who are listening to this will know who he is. Some people won't, but for me, he was a bit of an inspiration in getting into strongman as a vegan. And we've talked before about how you've said that you could be the next Patrik Baboumian. Has he been someone who's kind of inspired you in the past?
I did see about him a lot, like a long time ago when I was like around 22 years old. I saw it when I was trying to get big. I think I saw something about him. It was long before I tried Strongman, but I wouldn't say he's an inspiration. Like my motive to do this wasn't inspired by anyone else. It was more people telling me that I couldn't gain muscle and get strong. So it was like an Eddie Hall scenario.
Yeah,
I just want to. It was more screw you. I'm going to prove you wrong.
absolutely,
So
man.
that's why I like Eddie Hall, because when I saw his documentary, that's what got me into Strongman. Seeing his documentary, that's what made me look into it more. And yeah, I relate with that personality a lot.
Me too, man. And I think another layer on top of that is this kind of perception that you have to eat a lot of meat or have a lot of milk or eggs to succeed in strongman. So that for me just makes me want to succeed more as well.
Right, yeah. It's fun proving people wrong.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Every day.
So even for me as a strongman, it's inspiring to see some of the rise in plant-based or vegan strongmen in recent years. I've come across some competitors like Andrew Keys in the under-90s last year in the UK, who got a podium or first finish in his first competition. And another dude in Australia who's vegan and did a 330 kilo static monsters deadlift. So he's got the record for that in the Masters at the moment. I can't say I've ever seen a dude who's vegan and is as big and strong as you, apart from Patrik Baboumian. So maybe just tell people a little bit about your best lifts and how strong you actually are.
Okay, so yeah, I haven't really seen anyone besides there is one person, not many people know about him. I've competed against him at nationals. His name's Davidson Liga. Definitely check him out. He is bigger than me.
Wow, David Slicker.
David Matty, so Matty Davidson Liga, so Liga.
Okay.
He is he is awesome. I think he's about my age, so if he sticks with this, he will be great because he's a strong dude. He's got some good grip. He's a bit taller than me. He's definitely heavier than me. He's got huge shoulders. He's a big dude. He's a big vegan. Go check him out. He's
wow.
But I beat him, so I'm stronger. I won on count back.
Nice, man. Sounds like you had a good, healthy rivalry.
Yeah, and in regards to representing the world stage, I do think I can get to World's Strongest Man stage, not as a top competitor, not a contender, but get the invite, make it there. I think I can do that without PEDs. Whether I want to be one of the best in the world, I'd have to look into something like that probably, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
If it becomes a point where it's your livelihood, you do what you got to do to secure your spot.
Yeah. I mean, I think you'd probably agree with me here in saying that anyone in strongman who's at the international level and seriously competitive is on performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah, it's you'd be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. So could you tell people a little bit about your best lifts as well? So they get a sense of your strengths.
Yeah. So as of recent, I've got a 500 kilo yoke. I went up my driveway. It was uphill, so that's
holy shit, man.
I'd like to try flat. My farmer's walk is 205 kilos each hand. Farmers with no straps.
Wow.
So you made a video about this. I got a 340 kilo axle deadlift. My dumbbell is 110. They're my best lifts, and a 260 kilo front squat.
Whoa.
Back squat is 300 kilo. This is with knee sleeves, no wraps or anything.
Wow.
Yeah, they're my best lifts.
So based on those lifts, some of those lifts I can see you're probably if we compare you to the strongest dude who's vegan that I know of in Strongman, who Patrik Baboumian, he's retired now, but I think some of his best lifts you're probably pretty close to. I think his best deadlift was only maybe around 340, which you're about there already, right?
His deadlift, I think he did 800 pounds, which is 360 kilos for a triple.
Oh,
but
okay.
that might have been off blocks, because I've seen him do that same lift off blocks.
Right.
And if he was referring to that, then maybe not. But
so you're not.
Yeah, I'll surpass him.
Yeah.
In some ways, maybe not log. I think he did a 200 log or 190 log.
His log.
That might be. I'm overhead's my weak event. But everything else, as an overall strongman, I can surpass him. And maybe I already have in some ways, because I don't know how good he was with farmers and carry medleys and stuff like that. Maybe I'd be faster than him.
I don't think those kind of things were his strength.
Yeah.
But
right.
Yeah, that sounds like you're not actually that far from the level he got to in his peak, and he was a pretty crazy athlete.
From what I've seen, most of the world's strongest man competitors now struggle to pick up 200 kilos each hand farmers.
Absolutely, man.
I'm up there in that aspect. Yeah.
How big are your hands, dude?
Just normal hands.
Just
I don't know.
They're
not big. It's just,
where does this grip strength come from?
So the plates, mate. That's it.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. So let's just see where we're at here. So I think you've spoken briefly about what competitions you've already won and where you want to go next. Is winning Australia's Strongest Man your kind of next big goal?
Yeah, that's what I'm currently going for. To be the best in Australia. So I've got the Arnolds and Australia's Strongest Man I want to do to prove that, and then I'd like to get the invite towards Strongest Man, because I was a fan when I was a kid. I used to watch that with my brothers and my dad.
Oh, absolutely.
So just to be featured on there, like I love how they put the cameras on their face and they're kind of like standing on the camera. Just to do that, I don't really care about winning it.
Yeah.
But, who knows if I got to that level? Who knows what my mindset would be like if I got there? Maybe I'd want to go that extra step. So, what was the rest of the question?
Let's just flick back. Let's see.
I ramble on sometimes, so
yeah. Me too, man. It's all good. It's all good. I'm not sure. Where are we? Oh, what competitions have you? Yeah, just what comps have you won, and where? What's your next goal? Yeah.
I think that's I answered it. So
I think you answered it really well. Yeah.
Awesome.
So cool. So next question, for people who don't know Strongman, as a vegan, how strong are you, and what are your best? Oh, we've been over that. Why do people? So at the moment, you're probably at a level where a lot of people would say, who aren't vegan, they might say, well, you can win at that level as a vegan, but not at the highest level. That's some feedback I've got when I've chatted to people in the strongman community. A lot of people who are not vegan or plant-based will sort of have this kind of idea that it's just impossible for someone who's vegan to win World's Strongest Man or the Arnolds or to just even compete at that level. So, I mean, what do you have to say about that?
Well, people don't think that because no one's done it. Just like no one thought Eddie could do a 500 kilo deadlift because no one done it. As soon as someone does do it, you debunk that theory, So right now, the problem is that it's with plant-based athletes, and especially in strongman, it's not really, the culture doesn't really fit.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
what are the odds? You got like 1 in 1,000 maybe. Like you haven't got a big pool vegan athletes. First, you need the strongman to go vegan, and then you need that person to have the genetics and then the drive, the will, everything to go along with it. And the coaching, the circumstances. It's what are the odds, So it's not that there's heaps of plant-based people out there and they're all trying and no one's doing it. It's just there's no one doing it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Strongman's already like a bit of an obscure sport, and veganism or plant-based diets are also obscure. So statistically, it just means there's going to be less of them. So it's going to make it harder from that perspective.
Exactly.
But I really like the way you answered it with the analogy of how no one thought 500 kilograms could be ever lifted before Eddie did it. And, reflecting on Hafthor Bjornsson's recent 501 kilo deadlift, the commentators, when I was watching it today, were saying, quite a few years ago, well, not that long ago, actually, even a 420 kilo deadlift was like insane. That was like a world record.
Yeah. Well, like not too long ago, the log press world record was 170.
Yeah, that's nothing nowadays, is it? I mean,
but that's still a very good overhead. That's a very good log.
That's an insane amount of weight to press above your head.
I don't know what they're putting in the water now. I don't know what they're taking. Or we're just getting that much stronger as people. I don't know. It's just that's ridiculous. You got more people doing it now. More people taking it seriously and putting on the weight. There's that factor too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think there's better training protocols, better teams, better drugs, better food supplies, everything.
Yeah. So it's a combination of everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so that's a really good response. And okay, going on to the somewhat of a I guess a controversial topic in that of performance enhancing drugs and steroids, are they necessary in strongman? I know we've already touched on it, but are they necessary or are they a problem?
Very mixed with this. It's a problem in the way that it's encouraged in strongman. I don't think we should be exactly proud of it or anything like that. It shouldn't be glorified like it's because you got people, you got young kids coming into the sport, who want to start, 18-year-olds and that. And the first advice you're going to give them is to go find your local drug supplier. Get this. People should be taught, to work hard and be consistent and eat right and treat themselves like they want to be, a strong man. Because it's not like if you don't take drugs, you're not going to get there. You're always going to be making progress. I'm making progress every week. So unless you're at that point, you're plateaued, and you really, really want it. If you're not there, then you shouldn't consider taking it.
Yeah.
It's not safe. It's not smart. It's not responsible. And I don't like seeing people encourage it and promote it. I think that's wrong. With the big dogs in World's Strongest Man, they have to do it. There's money on the line. It's their livelihood. But unless you're not on that stage, and you can keep making progress without it, stay off it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really good advice, and you've touched on a lot of subjects there. And I think, I mean, if you're not a professional athlete, and you haven't done the best you can already, as you say, it doesn't really make sense to go straight to that. It's really, it's just unnecessarily compromising your health. And I guess it sounds to me like from your background, you've had, you've reclaimed your health, I guess. And so you've had some experience of, you've learnt to value your health more than some people, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you're plant-based, you're obviously more health conscious, aren't you? In that way.
Absolutely. In general. Yeah, in general.
Yeah, tend to be.
I mean, you do get some junk food vegans, but in general, you're absolutely right. On average, you're just more health conscious.
I care about what I'm going to do after Strongman. You know.
And I think that's a really good attitude.
I'm going to be strong when I'm 50. I don't have to get off drugs and lose it. You know, I'm always going to be fit and strong. You know, like
yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to look good. That's it.
Absolutely, and you've got like, you know, most people have families and, you know, people.
Yeah, exactly.
That, you know,
I've got a family. I've got a little boy. I've got a 1-year-old.
Yeah,
you know?
And they would be hurt, and you know, it's not just about you. It's also when your health suffers or you lose a loved one, it affects the people that are still living or that are, you know, around you. So I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, and have you looked at most of the strongmen? They're all bald.
Oh yeah, man.
I don't lose my hair.
Yeah, I mean, Thor is one incredibly strong dude, but he's looking pretty unhealthy, isn't he? You know, like
it's not normal. It's like, don't get me wrong, it's great what he's doing. It's impressive. It's awesome.
It's incredible.
But come on, do you think it's fun being that big all the time?
Yeah, I would say anyone who hasn't seen Eddie's documentary or some of these behind the scenes things of you know, the health.
Watch it. You hear it from the best themselves. You know? They warn you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't be taken lightly.
Absolutely. Your health is your wealth. That's what I always say.
That's right, mate.
Okay, 2 different questions here. What's the best way for someone to get into Strongman, and what's the best way for someone to get into being plant-based or vegan?
Best way to get into it. Well, if it was harder for me because I train at home, always have. If you train at the gym, hopefully that's a strongman gym. You can, or a powerlifting gym. You know, just get into that group. Just don't take the drugs when they offer it. Do a comp. Just look into it. All over Australia, PTC MacArthur and Sydney, they run newcomers challenges and state qualifiers, and there's you can go up the ranks from there. I'm pretty sure they have that same protocol throughout all the states. So follow the Facebook groups, the pages, Strongman Australia. Just look into it and talk to people, and just do a comp, especially that's the best thing. I haven't regretted it. I did the comp and I got hooked after that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Is that how you did it?
Yeah. Basically, I was watching World's Strongest Man, and I was like, these guys are crazy. I wish I could be like that, but I couldn't because I'm not like 180 kilos. And you know, then I actually had a look online to see if there are any comps. And when I saw the weights for like my weight category, I realized that it was actually something which was possible for me to enter. So I spent some time trying to train. Like, I would say, find a local competition and see if you're at the level of being able to be competitive, because you don't want to go there and get smashed like in the competition, and you don't so look at the numbers and just compare them to sort of what you're at as well.
Most people don't just go from doing like nothing and saying, "Oh, I want to get fit, I'm going to join Strongman." It doesn't work that way.
No.
You've probably been lifting weights for a few years, so get strong in the gym, like just normal basic lifts, compound movements. That is like your overheads, your bench press, your squat and deadlift. Build those up, and then maybe go to a strongman gym that have the implements and give them a try, and fiddle around with the numbers there, and you can see the numbers of what the stats are for all the levels, and you pick the level you want to shoot for and go from there.
Exactly, man. And then when I did my first comp, I was hooked. As you said, it was a crazy feeling. Like there's great camaraderie in the sport. Like people, you know, competitors will still, you know, like shout and yell at you to complete the lift and encourage you, and and the variety in the sport's just incredible. You know, you've got so many different lifts and things, so you can always be good at least one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I wanted to do powerlifting at first, and I got bored by doing 3 lifts every day. I was like, oh, that's it.
Yeah, I've got respect for them, but at the same time, I agree I could never do it.
It's boring to watch. I get sick of like the press. I
Same,
like
man.
seeing the Strongman events are awesome.
Yeah, I
Nothing
mean,
like
there's nothing like someone pulling a truck, right?
right. There's like 50 events. There's heaps. You can
Exactly. Truck pull and car deadlifts are like such a great sight as well for for people to see. Yeah, they're real
yeah.
spectacles.
Okay. Well, here's an example. Like I was training at my dad's prepping for Arnold's, and we do deadlifts out in the driveway.
Yeah,
People see that, and that's pretty cool. Like he's deadlifting, you know,
yeah,
but no one really cared.
yeah,
But every time we got the rope out and got the truck, and I pull the truck,
yeah.
even though my truck pull, what the weight I was doing was a lot less impressive than my deadlift weight.
Yep,
All the neighbors would come down and gather around and watch
I can imagine.
because I'm pulling a truck. It just looks cool,
It does.
regardless of how much like most normal men who are like pretty strong could pull it. It looks cool.
Yeah,
That's
it exactly. And there's always got to be you've got to think about that with sport. It's got to be a spectacle as well. And,
Exactly. Yeah. That's how you draw people in with that in that way. You need to make it entertaining. You got to sell it.
Exactly. So it's not just about you as an athlete; it's about the spectators and their experience.
Right. Yeah. Got to be as entertaining as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. What advice would you have for someone who wants to get into strongman but isn't very confident, or who wants to get into strongman as a vegan or something like that, and they're afraid of being ridiculed or not being strong enough or something like that?
For being ridiculed. Okay. Well, I'd say it's easy to say ignore that, but what I'd say is just work hard and get strong, and eventually you will build character and you will get confident from being strong.
Yeah,
When you can walk around and look at everyone in the room and know that you can outlift them all, there's your confidence right there. So if you're strong, you won't care about being ridiculed. But it's hard to say because I've never been like since I've started, I've always been competitive, so I've had that confidence. So you just got to get strong and work hard. And if you're worried about getting started, get a home gym at least. Then train at home, and get strong there. And then when you're ready, go out and dominate.
absolutely, man. And I think I'd add to that by saying just don't care what people think.
Yeah,
That's always,
it's easier said than done. But
yeah,
yeah,
it is, and it depends on
yeah.
your personality and everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, cool. Okay, so is there anything else you'd like to talk about, or anything else you'd like to add?
What have we? Did you ask every question? That's it.
I think so.
I don't know.
What do you think of Hafthor's recent record in the sport with the deadlift?
The
501
501. 501. I watched it late. I slept through it, and I woke up this morning and watched it. Yeah, it was scary. Of just seeing someone because I wasn't a fan of the sport when Eddie did his.
Right.
So like to be a fan now and watch that happen, not knowing if he's going to get it or not, that kind of freaked me out a bit. Like just that weight is ridiculous, and he is very strong. With the beef and the fight that's apparently going to happen.
Oh man.
I think Eddie is a bit tougher than Hafthor here. I think Eddie isn't. What is it? He's just. When you look at his eyes, he can be nasty if he wanted to be.
Oh yeah.
Hafthor, I don't see it as much. Eddie is like in here. You get in his head. Well, you can't get in his head, but yeah, he'll get in Hafthor's head in that way. But I honestly think with their body types, it'd just be like a pretty sloppy fight. I think it'll be like 1 minute of like swinging it, and then they'll just be tired and they'll gas out.
Yeah, so for anyone listening to this who doesn't know what we're talking about, Eddie Hall and Hafthor Bjornsson it appears that they're going to be competing against each other in a boxing match. And this is I agree. I think this is kind of ridiculous because, I mean,
they're not fighters.
They're not fighters. They really don't know how to fight. It's just going to be two massive, strong dudes, like just walking around like idiots in the ring, and
they don't know how to land. They can't land a punch.
They've got no idea how to fight. Of course they don't.
Like just because they're that big and strong doesn't mean they can punch harder than any normal person.
Exactly.
That just means it's just more weight to move. You know, if they haven't got the technique to use that size they have, it's useless. You know, it's just extra.
Especially when they're both so big, it's not like, you know, if it was Eddie Hall versus a normal person, it's different because he's got that body mass advantage. But with two like enormous people, it's even there, you know.
Right. Well, Thor is more athletic. He's looks leaner. He carries it better. But Eddie Hall's advantage is that all his shots can be body shots, and that can hurt Thor. And Thor's also more open to getting clipped on the chin. As with Eddie, he's lower down and get in there.
Yeah, so definitely uppercut.
They need to learn how to use their strengths there. It would be interesting.
I mean, isn't it a bit of a risk for Thor if he's going to still be competing in Strongman?
Well, that's what I was thinking as well. It's like, is he really going to
I don't understand that.
Strongman for this?
Is he for real? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. If you were still competing in the sport, why would you take such an unnecessary risk?
Well, he's been offered a lot, I think. So I don't know what he's going to do next. Be interesting to see.
Yeah, maybe he'll just take it and retire or something. Who knows?
Yeah, Eddie Hall did that. And look at him. He's rich man.
He's laughing, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, he had to get out of there because he was killing himself.
Yeah, his health was pretty bad, wasn't it? It was. Yeah. He's a lot shorter than Thor as well. So for that kind of body weight, it's it's very unhealthy to say the least. To say the least. Yeah.
He said it himself. It was a dark place.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think a lot of these dudes, I mean, I've always tried to make the point as well that a lot of these strongmen and athletes who consume like gargantuan amounts of food could benefit so much by only eating plants because of the carcinogens in meats and the cholesterol and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that's something that more strongmen or kind of strength athletes should consider?
I honestly don't think it matters, but it's not like plant-based people are just eating lettuce leaves, you know.
No,
we're eating food, you know. And I honestly think it's the meat is overrated, and Eddie and Brian, all these big guys, whether they like to admit it or not, I think they get most of their size from the carbs they eat. They won't say that it's all the meat, but I think it's the carbs, man. Because as soon as I went high carb, and you just blow up, you know. You mix that with creatine, and then on top of that, you get really strong. And then even in these guys' case, they take drugs, you know.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I've always had the same experience as well regarding macronutrients like that. And what was I going to say? I mean, I think there's a lot of health benefits they could be getting, which could, I mean, not necessarily for performance, but just for their health could save their life, you know.
Yeah, well, like with me, when I eat that handful of pepita seeds every day, just little things like that, you're getting a lot of micronutrients there, you know. There's a lot more to it. I'm pretty sure meat doesn't have that same benefit, you know. You're getting a lot of other benefits along with that. It's not just the proteins; it's a lot of other things, the little things.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely. And when before I went vegan, when I was trying to bulk up as a skinny dude, I worked in a cheese factory, and I used to get free milkshakes every day. And at lunchtime, I wouldn't pack any lunch. I would literally just drink like 2 liters of milkshakes, you know, for my lunch. I was getting a lot of animal protein, like a lot. And you know, my grandma would take me. I would take her shopping, and she'd take me out for lunch and buy me a couple of meat pies and a nice coffee. And,
must be hard.
What's that?
It's been hard to give up those milkshakes.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of soy milkshakes now.
Right.
But I
There
mean,
you go.
what's really interesting for me is that I still found it really difficult then, or I didn't, when I went vegan and I had a lot more plants and oats and carbs and stuff, it certainly didn't get any more difficult, and
It makes no difference, does it?
it really didn't make any difference. If
Yeah.
anything, it helped. It may have just been that I was at a point where I was going to make an improvement anyway, but I really improved my strength a lot in the years after going vegan. So
That's it. Just as if you want to be plant-based and you want to get big, just like lift heavy, and you're naturally going to eat more, and what you eat will support what you're doing. Those strength gauges will go up. You'll naturally start eating more, and it'll support it. And it goes.
yeah,
But it takes time. It's not just 1 year, a month, or a year. It's a few years. Like for me to get to here, it's taken 3 years of really hard work.
and well, 3 years is insane as well, by the way, because you're obviously insanely naturally talented. But I mean, I've been working out for about 10 years. I came from a lot of more cardio-rich sports like tennis and soccer and stuff when I was running. But yeah, I've been going at it for 10 years and Strongman for about 3 years. And it wasn't until at least 6 years of training that I really started to get a lot of strength in. Do you think it's really important for people to cut cardio, or like, do you think, because for me, when I cut a lot of cardio, I got a lot stronger, but that might have just been because I wasn't eating enough.
Well, I think if you train strongman events, that kind of is cardio.
Yeah, that's true.
It definitely gets your heart going.
Oh, yeah.
That explosive power, and that you need to be able to breathe for
That's
sure.
True. That's true.
If you want to be a really good strongman, then everything that you have to do in strongman, get good at all that. There's no point being good at anything else really, besides front squats.
Do you think?
But yeah.
Do you think it would be cool for them to have like an event like my wife got me an arm wrestling table. I haven't even used it much yet, but do you think it would be cool to have like arm wrestling and some of those kind of events back in Strongman?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I had this in one of my videos. I said I wanted to reintroduce not arm wrestling. What is it? Wrestling.
Oh, the mass wrestling with the sticks.
No. The one that I forget what it's called.
Oh, just
the one
like
from Kazma's.
Yeah, just like sumo wrestling. Wrestling.
Actually, was it just sumo wrestling?
It was basically the rules of sumo wrestling. They weren't obviously sumo wrestlers; they were strongmen, but it was sumo rules. Yeah. Yeah,
bring that back. There'd be a few heavyweights I like to throw around.
Oh, totally, man. I'll pay to see you put another massive strong dude on his ass who's eating meat and
even if they're bigger, I don't care. Yeah,
absolutely, man. And that was so fun to watch. Just two really strong dudes like trying to get each other outside the circle or on the ground.
Yeah, I think they might have stopped it because it can get a bit aggressive.
Yeah,
you got like the road rages and stuff. Like it can get pretty intense.
It depends on the athletes, doesn't it? If you've got some people with anger problems,
right? Yeah,
you could be running into some.
And they wouldn't.
I don't know if you ever saw what Bill Kazmaier did in the 80s when he was in a comp with it was a team comp with teams of two, and they were going through the castle with carrying some barrels, and basically he sort of tried to block them from going through the doorway, the other team, because they were losing. And the dude.
Yes, I love that.
The dude ended up dropping the barrel over the bridge, and it almost hit Odie. It almost killed Odie Wilson. And so
they didn't really think it through back then, did they?
No. So I guess that's an important consideration. But I don't know. Like, I would never have a problem if I was wrestling someone. I'd get fired up, but I'd never do anything stupid. So.
Yeah, I remember with Bill Kazmaier as well. They had the sack loading race. I think he was beaten. It might have been John Paul Sigmarsson.
Yeah.
He was beating him in the, I think it was him, and he was beating him in the sack drag. He was dragging it.
Yeah.
And he just pointing at him, laughing like ha ha. Like, as he's like, and he's laughing at him, but he falls over on his ass. He gets back up, and he almost loses. That's funny. Like that's entertainment, and Strongman is entertainment.
You need that, don't you? You need that.
Yeah, you need those characters.
Yeah, you really do. It's
well, that's what nowadays, but we're missing a few of them. I think we need more of it.
We need more characters. It's got to be a spectacle. It's got to be entertaining. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, a good example of someone who but was incredibly strong was Zydrunas. I mean, he was an amazing athlete, but he really didn't have he doesn't have a personality which is really entertaining.
Oh, well, that's not his fault, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like Matthias Kielski right now, he needs to figure something out. He needs to start doing some YouTube because he's currently one of the most exciting strongmen on the planet, and he's not using that to his advantage.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of people want to see more of him, including myself. Someone's got to tell him. You know, like he's been learning English, so I think he's starting to get the message. But yeah, he needs to start doing something about that.
Yeah, because it gives fans an opportunity to engage, and you know that it grows the sport so much more, and it can introduce new people to strongman.
It makes people care about them. You know, you see them compete, you feel like you know them. You know.
Yeah, exactly. They want to know who they are, what they're about, and you know all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right.
I always enjoyed that aspect of World's Strongest Man. They always interviewed the competitors, you know, before and after events, and they would, you know, how did that go? How do you feel about that? You know.
Yeah. Nowadays it's just evolved. Like you got documentaries now about it, you know, and you got you got YouTube channels now. YouTube is awesome in that way. It's giving us the opportunity to do it ourselves, you know, and put it out there, and that's really cool. That's the way of the future with strongmen.
Absolutely.
It's almost like wrestling's like long lost cousin, you know, something like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And have you found like people in strongman to be really supportive and like friendly and stuff like that?
Oh, yes and no. Yeah.
Okay.
You got supportive people, and you don't have supportive people, but
yeah,
you got to do you. You know.
You can say that about a lot of sports.
I've got a goal, and I don't care. I'm doing what I'm doing. That's it.
It's a good attitude. It goes back to.
So go ahead.
Oh, it goes back to sort of not caring what other people think and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I've got what I wanted to do, and that's it.
Absolutely, man. And I think what I've seen from from you in the sport and you as a person, you kind of let your actions do the talking.
I talk and then I back it up.
You like to talk as well, but
yeah, I like to talk, but I also like to back it up. Like
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, people see that. Like, you know, you'll see me there. I'll be around.
Absolutely, man. Cool. And where can people get in touch for you? For anyone who's watching this or watches this on my channel and doesn't know about you, where can they find you? Where can they get in touch?
My YouTube channel is Australian Strongman. I do like a similar thing that you're doing, and I have my Instagram, Australian Strongman, as well. If you have any questions, you know, message me. I already had a few people from the last video you made of me. A few plant-based people come over and like ask me, "Oh, what are you eating? You know, what do you train? How do you do this and that?" And that's awesome. Because I do like helping people out as well.
Absolutely.
If someone needs help and you know wants some advice, I'll tell them everything I know, whether it's the best or not. It's all I know. I'll tell you. I'll let them know. So yeah.
Well, you're one of the strongest people I've come across, so I think it's worth people listening to you.
Yeah, well, maybe it's just genetics. I don't know.
Well, I think that's a good question, actually. A lot of people, that goes back to a sort of whole scientific debate of nature versus nurture. But
some people said to me, "Oh, you're not a good example because you're just genetically strong."
Yeah, but it's. I mean, my opinion. You can say what you think in a sec, but I think it's always got to be a combination of the two.
Yeah. for sure.
Yeah,
I didn't just pick up the weight and start lifting heavy. It took a lot of thinking, a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, you might have started at a much higher level than me, for instance, when you first started lifting, but that doesn't mean that you didn't start quite far down relative to your own potential.
Okay, well, when I was 74 kilos, 74, that's the last I got. When I was about 80 kilos, I couldn't press more than that overhead.
Really?
I think that's when my overhead press was about 70, 80 kilos at that time.
Yeah.
It's not like some dudes walk in, but they are heavier. They walk in, and they right off the bat, they do a 140 kilo bench press. Some big dudes.
That's
crazy.
Pretty crazy, isn't it? But then they're probably not very good at a more mobile event or something.
Exactly. That's why I beat a lot of those dudes.
Exactly, man. And that's where it's always good to remember everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses. I mean, I've beat a lot of dudes in moving events. I've talked to you about this before as well, and I've beaten dudes who are definitely stronger than me. They're absolutely stronger than me, but they're just
so-called stronger than you, right? But in the sport, they're not.
They might be, stronger in a certain lift statically or something, but when it comes to a medley or a moving event, they're just too slow. No offense to those people if you're listening, but
a perfect example is when I won Tasmania's Strongest Man. It was my first. I did a practice comp before it, but it was basically my first comp where I prepped and went for it. Oh, I didn't prep actually. I trained 2 events because I didn't have stones or anything like that or a yoke. But one of the dudes there, the guy I beat, was the runner-up. His name's Dave Park.
Okay.
And he's a pretty well-known powerlifter in Australia. I think he bench pressed 300 kilo.
Whoa, that's a big.
And he's like a 360 kilo deadlifter, maybe something like that. And at the time, I was nowhere near that. And also squat. I think he squats. I can't remember what he squats. I think he squatted. I want to say 1,000 pounds. I don't think it was. I don't know. He had a big squat, but he's a monster. He's a monster. But in strongman, I beat him.
Really? Wow.
It was probably a fluke, but I beat him. So.
Well, I think that leads on to something that's really interesting. I mean, I'm going to make a video series a bit later about what strength is as well, and there's different kinds of strength, aren't there?
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, I could claim that I'm stronger than some of the dudes like Brian Shaw in certain senses. You could say, well, I can do more pull-ups than this dude. I mean, I'm not trying to say that I'm anything like him, but or dudes like this, but there are different kinds of strength.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So.
But with strongman, it's important you get good or whatever events they announce for an event. It's important that you train those right to a T, do everything you can, and get very good at those events.
Yeah, and I think working on your weakness as well, right?
Well, yeah, yoke was my weakness.
Really?
Okay, well,
you got a 500 kilo yoke, and yoke's your weakness.
No. It was my weakness.
Okay.
Okay, so the first time I did yoke was at New South Wales, like a proper yoke, was at New South Wales Strongest Man, and it was 360 kilo uphill.
Wow.
So, and I had the power to pick it up, but I just didn't know how to move with it.
Yeah.
So I'd walk, I'd drop it, I'd walk, I'd drop it, and I just couldn't do it. Like I wasn't fluent with it. And now that I've trained it since the start of the Arnold's prep, so since about, I think I got the yoke around January. So since January, I started training yoke, and now I'm up to 500 kilo.
Crazy, man, crazy. I mean, I've certainly experienced the same thing. I've actually only just started training yoke this year as well, and I've been competing for 3 years, and I've always done like 225 in comps, but never been very good at moving with it that smoothly. And
just do it more. Just do it more. I got to a point where there wasn't like a point where like, oh, I'm just like good at it. It's next thing you know, like you do it and you just start moving better. I don't know, you just got to do it. Yeah,
there's a lot of things that come into it. That might be specific to you as well. For me, as a kind of leaner dude, I found it would slip off my back a lot if I didn't get it in the right position.
Right.
And now that I've trained it more, I've got the spread eagle kind of grip going, and it just stays there a lot easier. It's a lot more stable.
Right. I never had that problem. Yeah, that across the back. But I had a problem with dropping the yoke all the time because I'd walk, and every time I'd step, it'd swing that way, then it'd swing the other way, and I couldn't get that fluent motion.
Yeah.
And I threw my back out doing it once as well. So
yeah, that can be a big. The stability in the yoke is definitely hard when you're moving. You can get a lot of swinging going on, and
right.
Yeah.
You just got to do it more, and eventually, you get it. You get under it, and it works. So I've got it now.
Definitely, but I think it goes back to that point of you can't really do it in the gym. You can get a really good deadlift, but that's not necessarily going to help you with stopping swinging on a yoke.
It's exactly, it's different. You can be like, I was a good squatter going into yoke, but what does it matter?
Yeah, it's
like I'm sure I have to pick it up because of my squat, but if I can't walk, I can't walk.
Yeah, specificity is king, right?
Yeah, so just train the events. That's my best advice to anyone trying to be good at strongman, is to train the events.
Definitely.
Often, get used to it.
Cool. And do you mind me asking a personal question?
How personal?
No, I was just going to say, what do you do for a living and that sort of thing?
Oh well, right now I've got nothing going on. So
it's different, isn't it? Yeah, with these.
Well, I was a truck driver for skip bins. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I'm looking to do something else now. Probably go for a career job or something like that. I deliberately chose a driving job so I could recover. That's how serious I take it.
Wow, that's
because I was doing like I used to create like wooden panels.
Okay.
For buildings and that construction, but that was just too manual laborious for me for what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
So I moved. So I picked the first driving job I could get, and that helped a lot as well with building strength to get the recover all day, sit in my ass.
I know what you mean. Like people who are watching who might not be in strongman or might not realize, but I found for me that I still do a lot of other exercise sometimes irregularly outside of strongman, but I never do anything regularly anymore because I used to do like footy and soccer and other things on a regular basis at a reasonably competitive level.
Mm-hmm.
And I found like when I tried to get stronger and do that, it just took away from it so much. So
everything takes its toll,
Exactly.
Yeah, like to walk around all day picking up things, walk around that makes you tired.
Yeah, definitely. If I've got a comp coming up, I'm not going to, and my mate says like, let's go climb Mount Lofty, I'll probably say no. I mean, that sounds stupid, but I might be really smashing my legs in training, and I need to. I mean, I remember my first comp I won. I was quite lucky that I did a really stupid thing in the week of the comp. And I guess you can give some advice to people as well on what to do in the week of the comp. But in the week of the comp, I actually decided to get together with an old mate from soccer and do some sprints. And I thought I'll just see if I can still beat him because we were both pretty quick sprinters when we were at high school. And
what happened?
Well, I did the sprints and I didn't get any injuries or anything. I beat him a couple of times. He beat me a couple of times. But then the next day, my legs were absolutely screwed. They were so sore. And I couldn't believe it because I used to sprint all the time and I was fine, but I hadn't done any sprinting in years.
Right, but you want to talk about stupid? You know what I did before ASA Nationals?
Yeah.
I went up to Queensland. I flew up for the comp. I wanted to do some light training, whatever, and I got sick. I got a bug, and I was in bed for a few days, and ended up losing weight before the comp. And I got frustrated. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to do something. So I went to the gym about 3 days before the comp, and I started doing squats with 220 kilos for reps.
Oh no!
And then I went into the comp with delayed onset muscle soreness.
Yeah, Shit, man.
Absolutely stupid.
Yeah, that's really, you want to be as fresh as possible, don't you? You know, and peaking.
With the last week, I'd say don't do nothing. Do the events, run through the events, but do it extremely light, where you're just going through the movements.
Yeah, I think that's good advice.
It's not, if you have like a week or two off, you're not going to get like weaker from not lifting heavy. But what you can do from having that time off is losing that familiarity with the events.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be surprised it throws you off. So I'd say, take it really light the last few days leading up, and just go through the motions. So when you go on the day, you just,
So you'd say try and practice technique and like the events at a much lighter weight.
Like a much lighter weight, and just go through the movements.
Yeah. I think that's really good advice.
Yeah, don't do what I did at ASA.
Oh man, after those sprints, I was icing my legs. I was having hot showers, cold showers.
You're panicking, weren't you?
I was stretching. Oh man, and I still had, like you, I had DOMs when I went into the comp, and I mean the truck pull for me that year was quite heavy, so I ended up still beating the other dude, but I only pulled it 1.5 meters.
That's the thing, though. Yeah, like you might have won that event, but think about how much it took out of you.
Yeah. It took a lot out, and it
affects the other events. So
exactly. I ended up losing to the other. There was only 2 competitors in that comp that day, but for under 80s. But I ended up losing to the other dude in the Viking press, and some of it could have been also because of fatigue in my legs with the push.
So when's your next comp? I know I've got this problem right now, but what do you have planned when this is over?
Yeah, well, I really wanted to get into more comps this year and try and work towards qualifying at a national level. But yeah, obviously I'm just looking at rebuilding now, and probably next year doing a comp, or late this year doing another comp.
That'd be awesome if I see you at nationals.
Yeah, man, definitely. That's
I think I'm going back to nationals. I'm going back to nationals this year, I think, if they have it.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think the chances are of another comp anywhere, but particularly in Australia, happening at a high level this year?
Well, they've started easing up now with the restrictions, so that's a good sign. That's a sign that things are getting better. Might take a few more months. So Arnold's has been cancelled. It was postponed. It was postponed. Now it's actually cancelled.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we got an email the other day. So it won't be until next year, the Arnold's.
Right.
I have New South Wales lined up, which is in June. Hopefully by then it's lifted, and we can have that comp and ASA Nationals. But I don't know. I think they postponed Nationals for now.
Yeah.
They can bring it back. There's heaps of time. It's in September. They can bring it back.
Yeah, I think anything in September, November, December, October, around the end of last 3 or 4 months of the year, there could be some comps coming back.
Yeah, I think they'll get them back. Hopefully.
Yeah.
A whole year like this will get to some people's heads.
It will. I mean, for anyone's life, not having sport and events and things going on, it's difficult. And I know for me as a competitor, I just love competing and going to events. And not having events means it is harder to stay focused with my training in terms of working towards, if I've got events, I know I've got to train for yoke. I've got to get my push press up for a log press, or I've got goals that I have to meet.
Goals. Exactly.
And I've got a timeline. This is when it's happening. I have to be ready then. And it sort of forces you to get the best out of yourself.
That's right. Yeah, when I did nationals, after I did nationals, I got really, really down after that because I was like, I had nothing planned next.
Yeah.
I was like, what next, So I love building for something. Yeah.
Definitely.
I think a lot of people like that. You need a goal. If you don't have a goal, then you can get bored very quickly. You can lose focus and motivation. You need the dog chasing your ass.
You do.
To move.
You do.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can go in a lot of people just go to the gym and they don't have any goal. They're just sort of, their goal's just to get a bit fitter or something, whatever that means, to get fitter. I don't know how they do it.
If you're going in every week and doing the same weight, like you go on the treadmill, run the same distance, do everything exactly the same, not progressing, then nothing's changing. You're just working for nothing pretty much, or just you're maintaining,
Yeah, and it's difficult to stay motivated if you don't have that sort of progress happening, or at least a goal in sight. Yeah,
you need a goal if you want to compete. If you want to be plant-based and you want to compete, you want to go up to a higher level, do it. Work to it. Put the work in.
Definitely, man. Definitely. It really surprises me sometimes when I see people on like vegan fitness communities who are really strong or like really good at something and they're not competing.
Like who?
Oh, I've seen dudes on like Reddit on vegan fitness and stuff who are just like really strong or maybe they're just like massive, like a lot of dudes into bodybuilding and stuff like that. And you go, they might not be into strength training, but if they train some strength, they would get it really, really quickly.
The only plant-based guy I know is Clarence, who's like a strong athlete. He's a good weightlifter.
Oh yeah.
Does he compete?
Does
he compete?
No. See, even Clarence doesn't compete because he says that because of the steroids, he doesn't want to compete against people that are enhanced and stuff. And
I thought he uses gear.
No, he's never said anything. Well, he might. I don't know.
I swear he said something in the early days. He uses something.
I've never.
I could be wrong. Don't take that as.
That's a good. I'm sure if anyone's watching this, anyone who watches this, if you know,
let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments, or yeah.
I thought he did. Maybe I don't know. Long time ago.
I don't know anything about that personally. I thought his reason for not competing was that he doesn't like the situation with people using drugs in the competitions. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that was his reason. So.
And that video that he did, Clarence Kennedy with Patrik Baboumian.
Yeah.
More of that. I really enjoyed that video. That was really cool.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. I mean,
I actually contacted Patrik Baboumian.
Yeah.
And asked if he wanted to do some content with me.
Yeah.
Because I'm good in that way for the community.
Oh, definitely, man. Community. Definitely.
So yeah, but he never responded. So.
Oh, that's a pity. He probably gets a lot of that though. So.
Yeah.
But I think it's really good to collaborate with people and stuff like that and get yourself out there because
you have a message. So
I mean, look, I put you in my series, Strongest Vegans People Have Never Heard Of, and I did that to promote you and to raise more awareness of you as a vegan athlete. Another dude that I found, for instance, because a lot of people don't know about you and they don't know it's possible to be that strong as a vegan.
Well, that's part of what it is, Like I want to.
Yeah.
I want to. What do you call it? Change people's minds on what they think about something.
Yeah.
That's one of my goals. I got other goals, but that's one of them.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, and there are some really strong people out there that people just they don't use social media much, or they're just not for whatever reasons in the
they don't know how to broadcast themselves. They don't know how to do it.
I mean, Tony Balajic is another dude who I put in the series, and he was a powerlifter, not a strongman, but he's sort of, I'd say, almost at your level of strength in a lot of ways. He's got a 330 kilogram deadlift as well, and no one knows who this dude is. Like literally no one.
He doesn't know how to promote himself.
And, I don't think he speaks that much English or anything. But
there's that too.
I mean, he's a super strong dude and he's vegan. So
yeah.
If you're one of those dudes, put yourself out there. Put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there, yeah.
I mean, we spoke as well before about how a lot of these strongman channels are like to poke fun at vegans and.
Hey, mate. You know what? I've copped a bit of flack from saying it.
Yeah, I imagine.
But you know what? I'm going to whip those guys.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. So it's no, it's been really good talking to you, man. I think we should start wrapping it up. I'm not sure how long we've been going for, but
yeah, I got to go eat my dinner. So
yeah, exactly.
wrap it up then.
You got to keep getting those vegan gains.
Yeah, mate.
And yeah, we'll have to do this again sometime.
Yeah, for sure. That was awesome. I love the questions today, man.
Definitely. Yeah. And maybe just show everyone your vegan muscles.
Oh, jeez. that's my word.
Who's better?
Yeah.
We're not into strongman to look good, but yeah, I have to say I look pretty good. No, I'm just kidding.
You look more jacked than me right now, yeah.
I think you whooped my ass with a 500 kilo yoke. So and even when we account for the weight differences, I think you've still got me covered. So
I don't know. Are there ways of what do you call it, of seeing like the strength standards in strongman? I haven't seen anything like that.
I'm seeing what? Sorry.
Like the strength standards in strongman.
Well,
I haven't seen any like that.
Well, yeah, no, there aren't really. But look, you could. I mean, one way of doing it is you could compare it to your body weight. But if you got a 3 times body weight deadlift or whatever, you could look at it like that. But obviously,
that's more than 3 times my weight.
What's that?
It's almost 4 times my body weight, I think.
Yeah, so you got me covered there easily. I'm at about 2.76 times my body weight for my best deadlift. Yeah, something like that.
Oh, for deadlift. Oh, you might have me on deadlifts.
Well, there you go. Oh, well, I can brag about that at least. But yeah, I don't know any other way. To be honest, that's a good point. It is interesting. How do you measure strength standards with people who weigh different amounts?
Well, I mean, with strongman, you can do they've got like things online where you can look at like the basics, but they haven't got anything for stones really, or for yoke or farmers, nothing like that.
Okay, yeah, well maybe put that in when you broadcast this on your channel. Put it in the content description below, and I'll check it out. I haven't seen that before.
No, I mean like they haven't got it.
Oh, they haven't got it. Oh.
No, I'd like to see it. Is what I mean.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe we can collaborate and make that.
I don't know how we'd do it.
Yeah, I've got no idea.
You probably handle the bulk of the work there.
Yeah, I'll have to have a think about that. I think, yeah, I can't imagine any way of doing it other than comparing it to you'd have to either do it per weight class or...
Yeah, look at the numbers the stands they have in comps, and I suppose that's what
you could do it
for a reason. So
yeah, you could do it relative to the weight class, I think.
Yeah. You
certainly can't compare absolute numbers across different weight classes and stuff like that. It doesn't work, but and certainly not with men and women either, different genders.
Yeah.
Although there's some strong women out there who I would. There's probably some chicks that are stronger than me out there.
Hey, I was at Australia's Strongest Woman last year, and there were a handful of women doing 150 kilo stones.
Holy shit.
They would have done 160, but there was no 160 kilo stone. So they had to jump up to 170, and they broke that off the floor by a bit.
Yeah.
So 160 might have gone up. So
yeah, women can definitely be strong, but
they're catching up.
Some of them have probably got some pretty interesting testosterone levels as well. But I don't mean any disrespect to any of them. But
they're very strong mentally as well. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they had my body, they'd whip me.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth mentioning that women have a better pain tolerance than men.
They have determination.
Whatever men say, like they've got nothing on the fact that women give birth, and this is
all I got. Let me have it, please.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the most pain I've probably experienced is when I had the world's third hottest chili, but
probably.
I'd
love to do a challenge.
What's that?
I'd love to do one of those chili challenges.
Yeah, well, I'll have to challenge you to one sometimes. We'll make another video, see who can withstand the chili better.
How bad is it? What would you rate it?
Well, if you've never had like insanely hot chili before, just imagine putting a gas burner in your mouth.
Jeez.
It's literally
like fire.
It's just like you can't imagine how hot it actually feels. It's
So it's not like a normal chili you eat. It's something else.
Like this thing that I had. It was what we did was see how long we could go without food after we ate it, without something to cool it down.
Right. You can't cool it down.
I think I lasted about 5 minutes or something, but it basically I was eating ice for about 15 minutes after that, and it was still burning.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I think you just have to wait it out.
Ice helps, but it only as soon as you chew the ice and swallow it, it just comes back again.
What about bread? I think bread works.
No, man. You don't understand how hot I'm not being facetious, but when it gets this hot, the only thing that helps is something that's frozen.
So basically just try to numb your mouth.
Exactly.
It works.
Yeah, literally. If it's not frozen, it does nothing. It just does. You put soy milk or something in your mouth, it just feels like it's boiling. Yeah.
Well, I've done it now, haven't I? I want to do I said I want to do one. Let's get that done.
The hottest one's the Carolina Reaper. So if you're up to it, I'll have a Carolina Reaper on camera with you.
Nice.
And,
all right.
We'll get it done. I have to warn you though, one final warning so you know what you're getting into. Once it goes through your digestive system, it will burn on the way out as well.
Yeah. I eat chili chips all the time. So
well, that will help. That will help a lot.
Will it?
Well, help somewhat.
Okay. Be awesome.
Yeah. It's
So, have you been recording like all this?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still recording. I don't know if there's a
Can you check if it's cut off because it might have saved over?
Okay. Yeah, we're on again anyway. Funny story. So when I worked as a teacher in a boarding house in Western Australia, I had this is a chili thing. I used to bring these hot sauces and chilies into the dinner table when I was looking after these kids from the school. And one night I brought some habaneros in, and the kids were all like very interested in how hot they were, and there was one kid who got egged on by the others to try. He said, "I dare you to eat one of those habaneros whole." You wouldn't do that. And of course, this kid was in year 7, so he must have been. How old are they then? Not very old, like 12 or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, he just grabbed this big habanero, nasty bugger, and just put it straight in his mouth and ate it. just ate it in one go. And oh man, the kids in the boarding house were just laughing like very cruelly. And this kid just went red and he started crying, and he was all right. Look, if I talk to him now, he would be okay with me talking about this. He would have
hey, it's his choice. Like, it's not like he stuck it in the food or anything.
Hey, it was just on the table. He just did it. I didn't encourage him. I felt bad afterwards, but I mean, as you say, he just did it, and he was.
You live and you learn. So
he ran out the door.
He'll never do it again. So
yeah, he ran out the door crying, and I went after him, and I got him some ice, and he was eating that for a while, and then he was all right. It's
you can't anticipate that kind of thing, can you?
You can't. It's the way chili works is like a drug. It can be that hot. It's just insane.
Thanks for having me on, man. That was a really cool interview.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's good to chat to a like-minded individual, and it's inspiring for me to see another dude in the sport
I,
who's
I,
lifting crazy weights as a vegan.
I'd also say check into Matty Davidson, like I was talking about before. He's the only one I can think of in Australia that's doing it right now in the open men's. I don't know too much about the other classes, but in opens, it's basically just me and him.
Yeah, is he the dude with the dreadlocks?
Yes, I don't know if he's as outspoken as me. He's a pretty simple guy. He's a really cool dude.
Yeah.
You get an interview with him. He's a super nice guy. You know. So
Oh, cool,
yeah.
man. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. Okay, well, I'll say finally like and subscribe for more, and check out AIDAN CANINI's stuff if you haven't already. This boy is very strong, so eat your vegetables and see if you can walk in his footsteps.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone.